when you look at the origins of the pandemic. The virus, God bless you.
Ted Cruz sucks and he just has to laugh it off. You remember that? That might well have been the high point of the People's Convoy. And you're thinking, wait, how could that possibly be? Like it was people, like even in the convoy, they're mocking the politician that came because he actually came. Ted Cruz was there. And he was one of the only politicians that actually engaged with the American version of the Canada trucker protest. It's gone now, by the way. They're breaking up. Co-organizer Mike Landis announced on Sunday night that the group would pack its things up in the coming days and drive back to California. That announcement comes after lead organizer Brian Braze fled Hagerstown again over the weekend amid continued splintering within the group. He said, "I am not running away," and then he ran away. He had previously told the Daily Beast that the convoy would go on indefinitely. This is a process that we were hoping to do diplomatically. We're in it for the long haul. We could go indefinitely right now if that's what it takes. We're not going away. But they're going away. They're driving back to California and they're planning on doing a more southern route. So it's a little warmer this time. But why? Because nobody's paying attention to them, including the right. Fox News hasn't really cared about it, despite their obsessive coverage of what was going on in Canada. Ted Cruz came, Ron Johnson came, and a few House Republicans. No other Republicans, no Democrats. It just never materialized, Francesca, despite all the reason in the world to think that the right would be obsessed with it and that could last until the midterms.
I think it's really curious that it didn't turn out, despite the amount of propaganda, despite the amount of lauding from the far right, despite Ted Cruz coming out and whomever. It is actually really curious. And I think the reality is, and I've done a fair amount of grassroots organizing. I understand splinter groups. I know what it is to organize a bunch of people. You know what this feels like? This feels like a protest that was not astroturfed by far right groups and by think tanks. That's how you know that it wasn't, because it didn't actually turn out. You know what was? The Tea Party movement. You know what was? The MAGA movement, the Stop the Steal rally that we know that now Ginny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, was involved in that. We know that Ted Cruz himself was also more intimately involved with, to say nothing of all the other Congress people who were also involved with that. So it's so interesting that you're like, oh yeah, all the think tanks and their dark money are putting their money into things like the CRT debate, the bathroom, the trans, banning trans people from, playing the sport of their gender, right? Like, it is fascinating to see what they will cherry pick and what has traction and what does not. And it is so clear that this just wasn't one of those things.
And the funny thing is that they expected that it would be. Like they really thought the money would come flooding in. And I guess they just came a couple weeks too late. The attention fled, the money wasn't there, and so it's falling apart. And again, they have all the right in the world to protest. They're not entitled to being elevated to national significance for weeks at a time.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.